Well, hello. Today we have set up a classic game, and this is going to be your typical fantasy realm game. Now, I am after this one, well, I take that back. After 2 more games, I am going to start dropping hard rules. And so far, it seems I'll be able to keep all of my regular rules. It's just each different type of game, you're going to get a little different way that you get your reinforcements. Now, we are now going with our elf, dwarf, and human against our orc, goblin, and dark elves. Now, over here, I'm going to use a clear for our regular elves. And then for the high elves, we're going to use the gold ones. And then these are going to be supplemental forces if needed. And then the brown ones are going to be the dwarves. And then 2 different blues for the humans. And then I've also got a supplemental smaller blue back there. And then for the goblins, we've got an orange. For the orcs, we have the green. And for the dark elves, we have a purple. And we're going to break that out. Now, I'm doing this a little bit differently, and this time we're going to get reinforcements by your side and not by the amount of bases you hold, which is what we typically would do. Now, why I'm going through all this like this is because I decided there are various aspects of each type of game that makes them unique. A fantasy game has things play out over time, and it has heroes. So instead of like one leader during Transformers, in this game they're going to be able to get tons of different heroes. And as you can see, I have icons set out to be each of their different heroes. And I'm going to give a 1 in 20 chance when you get a reinforcement of it being a hero. And that should make it interesting. And then once again, the bases really are not going to matter as much. You know, really, unless I decide in the playtesting to give them a fortification aspect, you know, the bases are pretty much window dressing. Now, I probably will give certain bases a fortification bonus. Now, as you can see here, I've set up 1 set of humans here, and 1 set of humans here. And pretty much I consider them allies. Now, the orcs and the goblins are going to get 2 times reinforcements because there's 5 good guy sides and 3 bad guy sides. So to even it up, the goblins and the orcs are going to get twice reinforcements. And once again, I think that will fit well with the fantasy genre. But otherwise, normally you collect bases and things start to progress pretty quick and start getting a lot of units. Now the thing with Fantasy Worlds is you don't typically get that. Now over here, you know, I've set up the dwarves. You know, those are dwarven bases, and that's a dwarven outpost. And, you know, that's basically your dwarven kingdom over here. And you got your human here. And then, of course, each chest is a different community. And over there you've got the elves, you know, you see all their little stuff, and then you got the high elves and their city over here, and you got the dark elves over there and their cities, and their little villages over here, and over here you got the goblins and their cities and the caves. And so, you know, the game is all set up and ready to go. Now, once again, I'm going to make these fortifications, so you know, I'm going to consider that a fortification, and I do have some counters that I can break out and use as fortifications. But once again, we'll see how that works. Now you can see I've given different ones priority, and you can see I've created little monuments. You know, like those. You know, those are really just for show. But once again, I'm considering those like the wonders of the world. So a more advanced version of this, I might create wonders to give bonuses for various sides. But in the beginning, you know, we're just going to be playtesting a basic game, and we're going to be seeing how this all works out. And I expect it will work fine, but, we'll see if there's any bugs. And, you see I've created unique little village spots, using my various items for my various games. Some of it was my Imperium stuff, and these many times will always be my buildings or a city. And I've also kept other counters that I could make the board basically larger by making everything smaller. But this is the setup. We're going to have our Dark Elves, we're going to have our Orcs, and we're going to have our Goblins, and they are going to make war upon the lands of the men, the Elves, and the Dwarves. And we'll see how it goes. Now, once again, I'm going to do the reinforcement differently, so to get rid of a side will have to be totally wiped out. So that will be interesting. So we will get updates on it as it goes. But also, part of this, because a fantasy realm has history, that's why we're going to do this by side, and there's not going to be a ton of reinforcements. This will develop over time. And then my next is going to be another Transformers, because they used the base rule last time, and I'm going to give them an Energon rule, to where you'll have to mine Energon, which will severely limit sizes. So my next two games I expect to take me quite some time. Now, any comments or questions, please put below, and everyone have a good day.